Hello friends and adventurers, and welcome back to Sally Cat Plays Nethergate Resurrection. And also welcome back to Garnet, who is in my lap giving me love. And also Theo the Grey Cat, somewhere behind me in this room. He may or may not make his presence known. He's not as much of a lap cat as Garnet is. He is sometimes a nuisance. Speaking of nuisances, it is time for us to investigate the abandoned mine, which may be full of some naughty, nasty things. But first, a barrel full of meat. Meats for everyone. Except maybe this one, this weird meat. I don't know if I trust something that looks like lungs or other viscera. And here's some dead meat that's human-shaped. Though the decomposition and the rats have been taking their turns with this body, there's still enough left of it to tell that it was a Roman soldier, brutally slain, stripped, and left here. Another terrible crime against a fellow soldier and the Empire. Whoever is responsible, hiding somewhere in this underground labyrinth, they must be brought to justice. So probably was not an accident that felled the carrier of the satchel. Meanwhile, can get a lamp. And some sandals. Does everybody have footwear? You've got boots, you've got boots. Rufus and Septimus have been walking around barefoot, that won't do. And of course, after I introduce Garnet and Theo, they're being very quiet. And here we've got trash. A cloak, more sandals, some rocks, and a pick. Just gonna pick up a bunch of stuff. Actually could use more cloakage. Rock. Formed when the earth cooled, this exciting piece of stone has been busy ever since, helping to provide ground for you to stand on. It's a lovely shade of grey. Also, it can be flung at someone's head. Probably get used as ammo with the slings. Both Romans and Celts wore a wide variety of boots and sandals, often made of leather, in order to protect their feet from the chilly Britannian climate. Customs may change, beliefs are malleable, ideas are found and lost, but the need to occasionally take out the trash is eternal. Indeed. No flavor text on the pick. Half tempted to keep the rock around. Rufus is my ranged guy after all, but he's much better throwing javelins than he is hucking rocks at people. Yes, you can equip the rock. I don't know why that amuses me so much. A few of the miners once made themselves a chilly, subterranean home in these caves. Some of their furniture is still here, moldy and smelling of mildew. Under one of the tables, you see what look like the droppings of a large animal. Your keen warrior's instincts tell you that whatever left them is probably still around. The low growls echoing from the darkness are your first clue. From the look of things, this mine can't have been abandoned for more than a few years. You wonder why the miners left. And here we've got a candle and a porphyr. And a door. And a very dark area. Whoa, hey. Giant rat. Okay, cool. So Nethergate did start the... You can just have characters walk up to things not in combat mode and whack at them. You make your way carefully down the damp, slippery steps, fully aware that one misstep could mean a broken leg, or worse. It's dark and cold in here, a marked contrast to the glorious weather outside. As you make your way forward, you listen carefully, trying to find a clue to who lives in here. Before long, you start to hear something besides dripping water and squeaking rats. There are voices ahead. You can't make out what they're saying, so you inch closer. Now you can start to hear distinct words, but they're still unintelligible to you. It's a harsh, guttural language, unlike any you've ever heard. You check to make sure your swords are still at the ready. There's danger ahead. You'd bet on it. I think I will save that and investigate the darkness first. Oh, seriously? Rational mind can't even use light items? That feels pretty busted. So much for being enlightened, am I right? Hatchet, rock, stick. The stick is merely a stick, but it can do 1 to 3 points of damage if you try whacking someone with it. Skull. These are the dry, pitiful mortal remains of some unfortunate person. They are dry and clean, and now serve mainly as a grisly souvenir or decoration. Hello, what are you? You are a hostile goblin. And now you are dead. More candle. Goblin was carrying a crude dagger. Ooh, goodies. A fine iron dagger. How does that compare to an iron short sword? 1 to 5. 3 to 9, that's a lot better, actually. Okay, barring any secret passages, that's all for that corner. And now, the game can properly introduce me to the goblins. You see a light to the south, with several short men hunched around it, talking in their guttural tongue and sharpening their weapons. One of them notices you. You stare at each other, and reality drops out from under you. They're not men. They're not even human. They're too short and too squat, and they have fangs, and claws, and shaggy fur all over their bodies. Their eyes glow slightly, and their lips are speckled with the meaty leavings of their last meal. You step back, confused and horrified by what you're seeing. The gods and the supernatural have always been invisible to you, acting in unseen, mysterious ways. These beings, on the other hand, are quite real and quite dangerous. On their part, although they look terribly fierce, they don't roar and they don't charge. They seem tired and resigned, like longtime campaigners, as they pick up their weapons and move to attack. So yeah, we're not even going to try talking. Okay, shoot missile is F. Also sort of need to see the sling and sling stones graphic instead of the traditional bow and arrow for ranged weapons. Do I have any combat spells? I don't think I do. Let's do a mild healing, though. The crude dagger, iron dagger. Neither of them worth very much. Healing herbs. More gobbos. Ooh, goblin warrior. Somewhat tougher. Okay, so C for casting. Yeah, we're not really separating out the priest and mage spells here, although I don't have anything that would qualify as a mage spell, just a healing, blessing, and shielding. Okay, who else needs a helmet? Everybody needs a helmet. This door looks extremely sturdy, and the padlock on it is of unfamiliar make. You give it a try, but you don't have any keys which work in the lock. You may have a hard time getting in here. And apparently the lock is too strong to be picked. So we must go searching for a key. Goblins hanging out with wolves. We've seen that before. The goblins clearly plan to defend their home with much more than just weapons. You trip a hidden deadfall trap, dumping a load of heavy rocks onto your heads. Ew. Also, I get a few coins. And I noticed there are dice on the ground. I can use the dice. In ancient games as now, dice were a popular tool for gambling. Not much is known about the actual games which they played, though. Has unusual ability. You roll a 5. You roll an 8. Septimus gets bit by a wolf. Just out of curiosity, since these have an ability. Nope, Rational Marcus refuses to roll the dice. You'd think he could give us electron statistics and probability, but no. I understand the game must be easier to code that way, but I am going to rip on it for a little bit. Looks like there's a downstairs to this area. I did not remember that from my very brief time playing this game before. Oh, you look pretty tough. Hostile goblin shaman and another warrior. Okay, so I've did about 5 damage with rocks. Yeah, much better with javelins. Rufus is now level 2! No, that's not what I wanted. I wanted the button next to it. Wood shield, hammer, shovel, pick. Here, Septimus, you get a shield now. Shields for everyone, huzzah! Ooh, bars of tin. Well, Marcus, since usable items is not good for you to carry. You get to carry the metal bars, and also you get a level. And Septimus does too. Sometimes I miss being able to have my inventory and my map area separate. Everybody level 2 now! You pass a pot of cold stew, made from the meat of giant rats. There's no fire pit here. The stew must have been made somewhere else and carried here. Although you're feeling a bit hungry, you decide to pass on goblin cuisine. Do I want to know how you know that it's made of giant rats? Dagger bowl and spoon, some nice set dressing. You descend into a trash pit, filled with gnawed bones and rotten trash. The smell is pretty bad. As you work your way down, you hear gnawing and hissing. At first, you think it's just a few rats. Then you see what the goblins use to remove their trash. Oh, giant lizard. Oh no! Marcus has a slight case of the dead. That's not good. I think I may need to go back to the fort. Goblins have laboriously dragged barrels of dirt down here in order to make some sort of crude fighting pit. It may be here for training or just for fun. Either way, it's pretty bloody. So I see. They've got a whip and a crude cudgel. Ha! Cudgel has a description. Once it was a proud part of a tree. Now it's lonely and alone. If you're desperate, you can clonk someone on the head with it. Ha! Neither the Romans nor the Celts were known for their attention to human rights. Both kept slaves, and neither were above a bit of corporal punishment when it seemed appropriate. They say where there's a whip, there's a way. As you walk down this corridor, you notice that the west wall looks unusual. It shimmers as if it's slightly insubstantial, or maybe even not there at all. Ah, thanks for the hint, game. This small cavern is dominated by what looks like an anvil stone. It's a flat rock, carved and smoothed for the pounding out of spearheads and such, and marred by the blows of many years of use. It is also glowing. It shines with a constant, dim red light, shimmering and flowing over its surface. Looking more closely, you see that the stone is marked with tiny runes, mixed in with the old hammer marks. As you look at the stone, you hear a soft, whispering voice coming from the air around you. It says, "Help me, help me, help me." Each repetition of the phrase sounds exactly the same. It's odd, true, but no stranger than anything else you've seen recently. Ha. Let's, leave that alone for now. I've already got one dead party member. Okay, this looks like it's just an odd little dead-end thing. Another locked door that I cannot open. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave Marcus's stuff in a pile here. It'll be fine. Because items do not disappear in this engine like they do in the Old Exiles. At least I'm pretty sure that's true. Oh great, another rock trap. Well, spear is just as good at dispatching basic enemies as a sword. Oh, that's back toward the front, okay. Crude dagger, ooh, pants. That wonderful Celtic invention. Well, it's not much, but it is a helmet. Even 2,000 years ago, regular people, both Romans and Celts, could take great comfort in a nice pair of pants. Britannians preferred plaid. Yeah, I think Romans generally more preferred to wear their tunics and togas and keep the legs more open and breezy. But Britannia is a colder climate, and so a nice cozy pair of trousers is good to have. Hey, more lockpicks. Yep, cannot deal with any of the doors until I find a specific key. You see a scrap of cloth on the ground. You pick it up and examine it. It's wool, speckled with blood, probably from a Roman soldier's uniform. There's a stairway down to the south. Perhaps fellow soldiers have been taken down there. Indeed, we have not found that satchel yet. But before we go downstairs, I do want to return to the fort and get Marcus back in shape. Back in good fighting form. You stand at the east end of a ruined, crumbling road. The sections that are still intact are made of carefully cut slabs of grey stone, carefully fitted together. This is very peculiar. All of the roads on Britannia of this quality should have been made by the Romans. Hi there, Garnet. She's tearing up the back of my chair again. However, this road is far too old to have been made by them. You wonder where it came from. Yeah, I don't know either, Garnet. Okay, where is the healing guy? Here we go. Can you heal me? Yes, he can. When he finishes with you, you do feel invigorated. Why are the soldiers getting wounded so much? Is it because of the goblins nearby? Yeah, I apparently still have not seen and done enough to have the people of this fort tell me anything juicy. So Marcus is back upright, but he is also kind of naked at the moment. I wonder if there's anything hiding at around the edges of this fort. Probably not. It doesn't look like there would be. Just trash pit. I feel like I've heard that sound someplace else, but where? Like in another 90s to early 2000s Mac game. Aha! The bowl actually does have a description. Both Romans and Celts used that most basic of tableware, the bowl. They were made of both wood and clay. Fired, glazed pottery bowls were not common, but such quality wares did see use. Well, now I gotta see if the spoon also has a description. It does! Neither Romans nor Celts used knives and forks when eating. They mainly ate with their hands, although they also used spoons, bowls, and plates. I imagine the Romans did a fair bit of using breads to scoop up their food. So, what lurks below the mines? Surprise, it's more mine. Plank and saw. Okay, planks and saw are just here for visual flavor. They don't have descriptions. The sounds of chanting, grunting, and guttural mumbling grow louder ahead, punctuated by the occasional scream and sounds of ripping flesh. You are approaching these strange humanoids' main living quarters. These creatures are very peculiar, even if you set aside the claws and fangs and such. They're savage and barbaric, but at the same time, very careful and organized. For example, they've carved graffiti into many of the walls. Thus, they can write, a trick that many of the locals haven't picked up yet. They look like animals, but fight with admirable skill and suicidal courage. They give no quarter and expect none. Whatever happens, a worthy and honorable battle lies ahead. Now let me try something with Marcus. Can you use potions? No, you refuse to use potions. Ooh, one-shotted him with a javelin. Let's do battle rage. Actually, no, I don't want battle rage yet. I want shielding. No, not there. Javelins for the win! Wooden large shield. Alrighty then. I don't remember if I read the description for the large shield before, so I'll read it again now. This style of long oval body shield, despite the fact that it has a square graphic, called a scutum by the Romans, is favored in combat by both Roman soldiers, along with armor, and Celtic warriors, along with not much else. Is that something? Okay, that's just a pile of picks and a shovel. Oh, you're a big guy. You are Goblin Chief Vlax. Oh, I think I did give Marcus the fast on feet trait. As long as I have javelins, I should use them. Ooh, chill charm. And a crude pike. So I've got an iron spear. Crude pike does more damage, but might preclude me using the shield. Yeah, it's a two-hander. The weapon of choice for the berserker on a budget. It's basically a technologically advanced stick, made of carved and polished hardwood. Sometimes molten lead or other metal is used to give it some extra heft. You've got fancy bowl and plate, a flagon, Bones, weird meat, more shields. This necklace is an excellent piece of craftsmanship. It looks brand new, as if nobody has worn it at all. Looking at it, you start to feel a strange, persistent urge to pick it up and put it on. Gives resistance to fire damage. So far, fire damage hasn't really been a thing yet. Another iron longsword, which I will yoink because those are worth good money. Quality small shield. Another bronze fibulae and a shirt. Oh, Fabian is carrying too much. Oh, interesting. This prevents 10% of damage in combat, but half of that from magical damage, so only 5% magical damage. Yeah, it looks like I still wouldn't be able to use that and the two-handed spear. Though the small shield does more blocking than the regular wooden shield. Poor fur, nice fur. The door isn't locked, however, it's got some unpleasantness behind it. You find the bodies of 2 Roman soldiers, killed, stripped, and left here for who knows what sinister reason. Interestingly, although neither of them has any equipment left, something made of leather pokes out from beneath one of the bodies. You roll over the body and look inside the satchel. Inside it, you find several sheets of paper covered with writing and code. You can make out one thing on it, though. It's addressed to Commander Vibius at Shadow Valley Fort. These must be the papers the commander wanted you to find. You pick them up and store them carefully away. Now, all you need to do is get out of here alive. So, have not found a way to unlock the doors upstairs, but have found our mission objective. More leather armor, more sandals, more lockpicks. Okay, Fabian, you need to move something somewhere. Rufus gets to upgrade to boots. Pillows. Wait, no, I didn't want to pick up the shield. I wanted to see if the leather armor had any different descriptions. Yes. This isn't actually armor. Well, not metal armor. But a heavy leather jerkin, which will absorb some of the blows you take in combat. Neither Romans nor Celts generally wore anything like this in battle. Of course, the Celts usually fought nearly naked. But of course, we are dealing with fantasy RPG mechanics here. Ooh, mushrooms. Tasty, tasty mushrooms. So I think I found the interesting and important part of the downstairs first here. Oh, hi. Vorgar the Smith was kind of a tough guy. Ooh, blessed armor. Now, Marcus, does your rational mind prevent you from wearing enchanted armor? It doesn't. How convenient. So the pillow I picked up earlier is a sack of feathers, leaves, or other soft material, upon which one's head can rest while sleeping. Probably not too useful in a fight, though it can keep your neck from getting sore afterwards. Yes, goblins are unimpressed with pillow fights. Pincers are a tool for iron and bronze working, a highly useful and well-developed craft for both the Romans and the Britannians. In fact, it was the timely development of iron which helped the Celts spread rapidly all over Europe. And the same applies to the tongs. Another dead body. Delightful. You're able to tell from the blue markings and the spiky pale hair that this is the body of a dead tribesman. It's nice to know the goblins kill people besides the Romans. And he was wearing pants and a simple shirt. No dead body in here, although it does have some bones. Haha! Checking every corner for secrets sometimes pays off. With bars of silver, tin, and lead. Question is, can anyone actually carry these? Oh, look, more goblins. Okay, this method of killing enemies evidently splits XP evenly among the party members, because otherwise Marcus would be greatly overleveled compared to the other three. You think you've detected a trap. Let's save. I should probably be saving a little more often. The trap goes off, I get 40 coins. Did the trap actually do anything? Ooh, blessed javelin. Oh, that's what happened. The trap unleashed a very large wolf. Hostile warg. Ow. Let's do some healing very quickly. The spear's too heavy. You open the chest and find a sheaf of leather sheets, dried, cured, and covered with crude runic writing. It looks like goblin druids have managed to figure out how to write, albeit roughly. Your talent for rune reading is adequate to figure out what's written on the sheets. You can now make energy draft. The scrolls themselves are pretty bulky, so you put them back in the box. Shouldn't we tell Gaius about that? Hi, Garnet. A druid's robe. Interesting. And, ooh, mistletoe, healing herbs, and ceremonial dagger. Oh, hi, Garnet. And unlike Avernum, this ceremonial dagger gets a different description. The Celts' religious practices are thought to occasionally run towards the gory, including bloody sacrifices of animals and possibly humans. This decorated knife is used for these sorts of unpleasant events. Druids, the holy men of the ancient Celts, are thought to have worn long robes, much like these. Well, it is more protective than the toga. So, Septimus, you now get to cosplay as a druid. Have fun. Trash pit with a healing potion. Okay, looks like there's actually a couple of levels here. Level 3? There's a third level. What can be down here, though? I've already gotten the objective. I am probably going to want to consolidate my food stores a little bit more later on. Okay, who wants to carry 8 pounds of dried meat? Who can carry 8 pounds of dried meat? The inclusion of edible mushrooms does have me wonder if Jeff intended to use this engine for the Avernum Exile remakes, even as he was doing the original Nethergate. Oh no, another lizard. I'm gonna have so many skill points to spend later. Okay, that's a bad plan. Obelisk. It looks like this obelisk once had writing carved into it. Unfortunately, it's all been eroded away over the course of many years. Yeah! Surprise lizards! Oh, phooey. This could end badly. Also, I need to remember I have potions, and these characters all can use them. Well, that went well. Aye. Took me a second to figure out where the information on how many movement points I had was. Okay, so giant lizards, rather unpleasant. Oh. You find yourself staring into the beady eyes of a family of large lizards, who are resting comfortably in a rocky nest in the far corner of the cave. For once, they seem more scared of you than you are of them. You take a step forward, and receive a warning hiss. If you want to explore this cave, you'll first have to deal with some rather territorial lizards. Yeah, I'll come back for that later, perhaps, maybe. Yeah, not trusting that right now. Oh, crud, out of energy. Chairs? Chairs and a chest. You open the box and find several papyrus scrolls. They aren't Roman papers, though. They are covered with cramped writing in a strange, runic language. There aren't many scrolls, so you take them. Perhaps you can find someone who can decipher them. Yay. And that is a brazier, which I can look at for some reason. You find the cavern where the goblins bury their honored creatures. Chief, shamans, that sort of thing. While many of the bodies they've carefully placed here have since been eaten by the local monsters, the crypts to the northeast look unusually intact. Aha. I've got a bad feeling, and that bad feeling involves potential skeletons and zombies. So again, let's leave and maybe come back when I'm at full strength. Oh boy. I would kind of like to explore this more thoroughly, but also I'm down a fighter. Oh, how did you get through the fence? Yeah, still down to 1 energy. Not good. Oh no, I can't pick up the disgusting rat fur. Ha. Slightly different description there. You find another of this mine's huge locked doors, protected by padlocks of unusual and ingenious make. You look through your possessions for something that might serve as a key, but nothing works. This door may be difficult to pass. Delightful. Okay, that's another passage downward. That's more rat. That's a very bloody door, so we're going to ignore that for now. Oh, there's more of you up there. That feels unfair. Okay, there's the passage up. Well, let's get Marcus resurrected again. And sell off some extra stuff and maybe get some training in. Oh dear. You approach the exit from the mines, your prize finally in hand. You can already catch a glimpse of sunlight and smell the fresh air. Fortunately, you're not so distracted that you're caught off guard by the ambush waiting for you. You see 4 heavily armed goblins waiting for you at the top of the stairs. You brace yourself for one final, nasty confrontation. Weh. Well, I guess I should have had my chill charm equipped. Oh no. When was my last save? Back here. Okay. So the only thing of real value that I got from doing this exploration was some XP from killing rats and finding the other stairs. Hey. Yeah, you can totally just get through the fence diagonally like that. A spool of thread. You know, I could loot Marcus's pile of belongings for slightly better armors. Oh no. Can I take these guys? Let's find out. Not very well, it turns out. This may be difficult. Oh, didn't somebody drop a helmet last time? No, we're not going there. Okay, so I found myself on the middle level, and that may not be where I want to be. Sometimes you get the rat, and sometimes the rat gets you. This poor goblin chap must have fallen in the latter category, and nobody has bothered to remove the body. Maybe a goblin who fell in a rat ambush doesn't merit a full burial. At any rate, that's a lucky break for you. A glint of metal in the creature's clawed hand turns out to be a brass key, with the number 1 stamped into the side. You pick it up, wipe it off several times, and pocket it. Oh, special items I've got. Roman message. A Roman courier was carrying this message when he was waylaid, captured, and eventually killed by the goblins. It was addressed to Commander Vibius of Shadow Valley Fort, who no doubt greatly desires its recovery. Key 1 is a small brass key. It's very well made. In fact, the craftsmanship is superior. It's been engraved with a small 1. The runic scroll is a papyrus sheet covered with writing in a strange runic script. You can't make any sense of it. Maybe someone in Shadow Valley Fort would like to see it. That sounds like a more generic description for a special item. Now you know how the goblins manage to survive in these caves. They eat rats. The enormous, savage rodents that live in this area provide steaks, chops, and roasts for all of this mine's nasty residents. This is where the rats are killed and butchered. And I guess this corner over here is the livestock pens, so to speak. You have strong constitutions, but even a brief look at this place makes your stomachs do slow rolls to the left. The less time spent here, the better. Oh, hi. This door looks extremely sturdy, and the padlock on it is of an unfamiliar make. Fortunately, one of your keys fits the lock. Excellent. Iron dagger, quality battle axe. Does that count as a melee or a pole weapon? And can I even carry it right now? Okay, can't put the pike into the box. Still too heavy. Battle axe is two-hander and uses melee weapon skill. This axe wasn't made for chopping wood, but for chopping heads. Consists of a large double blade set on a heavy wooden handle. I will take my spear back for now, then. But also, I will grab some helmets. Okay, I need to remember that there's some pretty good weapons in that corner to be picked up later. So I can certainly just hop down here if I don't mind seriously hurting myself. That's more damage than I really want to take right now. Sometimes the damage from jumping off a ledge isn't that bad, but sometimes it really hurts. Oh, what? My key doesn't work here? I need to find another key? Well, I've got a cat. She doesn't help open any doors, but she's a cat. Well, I can at least see if there's any useful goodies in the doors up here. Valuable goodies, not useful. I keep hoping that walking around will regen some of my energy points, and so far it's not happening. Oh. That door wants a different key. Fantastic. Fine leather armor, iron spear, iron shield, nice fur, sandals. Have to remember there's stuff to pick up in there as well. Nope. Different key again. This place is very frustrating. I can cast a single healing spell and that's it. But at least the shaman isn't fireballing me. Ow. Hooray! I survived this time! Ooh, and we've got amber, bracers, a warmth charm, which presumably protects against cold damage. Many goodies. I'm carrying too much stuff. Oh, and this recording session has gone longer than I thought, so I don't actually know if this is going to be 1 or 2 episodes worth. Okay, so first things first. Marcus is once again a little bit too dead for my liking. Excellent. Okay, now who does what where? You are the quartermaster guy. Things like bars of metal and furs are only useful to me for how much I can sell them for. Also, I don't know if I ever read descriptions for the herbs. Because of their lack of modern medicine, the ancients had to be aware of the healing properties of the local flora. Of course, some herbs were used more because of superstition than of any actual healing properties. Yeah, but some of them are legitimately good for healing various ailments. There is some evidence that Romans used wine infused with herbs or drugs in their rituals. Opiates and henbane were definitely used for painkilling and perhaps recreation. Needless to say, such behavior is frowned upon now. I don't know, there's a significantly more acceptance of various herb use compared to when this game was written. Mistletoe. Mistletoe is a parasitic plant which grows on trees, such as oak. It is said to have been sacred to the ancient druids, who used it in their rituals. Well, I've got way more gold than I used to now. Alright, Commander Vibius, we have the thing. You return to your commander's office, still feeling somewhat haunted by what you saw in the mines. Vibius sees the look in your eyes and looks, for a moment, sympathetic. Welcome back, he says. I know that look. I've seen it many times, on the faces of every soldier who somehow ends up here. I couldn't warn you about what's out there. It's something nobody can believe until they see it with their own 2 eyes. He slouches in his seat and rests his hands on his stomach. You start to see how tired all of this is making him. Nobody believes. Nobody outside this fort knows what strange things live in this area, and nobody will find out. Not until it's safe. You root around in your packs, looking for the message you found in the abandoned mines. It's stained with a bit of blood, probably yours, but it is still intact. Vibius, delighted, tears it from your hands. You might as well be alone in the room, so intently does Vibius stare at the pages. The writing is in some sort of code, but this doesn't slow him down at all. You wait for an hour as he reads the document, and reads it again, and thinks. Finally, he turns back to you. Interesting. Worrying, and interesting. Our friends in the village of Nethergate seem to have a little bit more than just sensible obedience to Rome on their minds. What, we aren't sure, but it bears investigation. He motions you forward. He takes a pouch out of his desk and gives it to you. Money, to purchase supplies and training. You will need them. Now come in. Speak with me. There is another task you must perform. There is still much we need to know. You have had a taste of the strangeness that lives in Shadowvale. Now you must descend and drink deep. Fascinating. Tribunus Militium Vibius Valerius Rufus, commander of Shadow Valley Fort, sits in his office and studies his papyrus maps and scrolls. Commanding a fort like this involves endless work. What is my next mission? According to the message you recovered from the nearby mine, a group from the nearby village of Nethergate is going to soon meet with, well, some of the denizens of the Vale. This meeting will take place in a ruined hall to the north. You are to go to this hall, investigate, and find out what the meeting is about and what they are trying to do. What do you mean, denizens of the Vale? He chuckles. As you know, some of the local residents are beyond the range of normal experience. Every week, we see something different, unusual, and completely beyond our strangest dreams and visions. I have no idea who the Brigantes might be meeting with. I have no idea what the denizens of Shadowvale might even want. All I know is that they are powerful and dangerous. The locals have a name for them, the She. What are the She? I have heard that the people of Britannia call them the She, the fairy folk, powerful and dangerous creatures, filled with magic and ruled by whim. They fear these creatures. I do not. We are Romans. We bring roads, and the rule of law, and mastery of the arts of war, the likes of which these savages have never seen. It has fallen to us to fight these She, and fight them we will. Yeah, we'll see how well that works out for you then. Okay, how do I get to this ruined hall then? To get there, go north into Shadowvale and look for the ruined road, and follow it to the north. It will go over an old stone bridge, and from there, a short distance north to the ruined hall. We aren't sure who built it or what it was for. All we know is that it has been abandoned for a long time, and that it is very, very old. What should I look for in my investigations? The message did not say when the meeting would be, or what sort of beings the savages would be meeting with. There may be no evidence for you to find. However, with some luck, the ruined hall will contain something worth knowing. Well, that's all very interesting. But I do need to get some more training in and also talk to Gaius about that ruined scroll that I found earlier. But I think I will do that in another episode. Until then, have a good one, and take care, everybody.